Tonight's Coaches Show with Hempfield Spartans coach Rich Bowen is presented by the Ground Round near the Westmoreland Mall in Greensburg. Whether it's specialty burgers and sandwiches, one-of-a-kind fajitas, or one of their homemade dinners, we've got what you like at the Ground Round.
We continue live from Spartan Stadium on the Westmoreland Sports Network pregame show, getting ready to kick off the 2014 high school football season. It's Hempfield and Plum here at Spartan Stadium. And now third-year head coach Rich Bowen joins us on the pregame show, and our chat with Coach Bowen is brought to you by the Ground Round in Greensburg. We've got what you like near the Westmoreland Mall. Coach, before we talk about the X's and O's and the amount of players that graduated and some of the new players you're looking forward to stepping up this year, just talk about how excited you are personally to start your third season, and the team is to start at home, a home game for the kickoff, the opener. I'm sure everyone's real excited, huh?
Well, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Western Pennsylvania in high school football, and every year is exciting. This is my 22nd year as a head coach, and it gets more exciting each year. And I know the kids are ready to play, the fans are ready to go, so we're just excited to be a part of it.
You nearly were here at Spartan Stadium for the first round of the playoffs last year, lost a tough game to Penn Trafford in the last game of the year, but you still made the playoffs, lost to Seneca Valley, but you were still there for the second straight season under you. Again, this is your third year. Can you kind of reflect back on last season and the type of year you had?
Well, it's been a great 2 years. I think the program's come a long way in 2 years. Obviously, we've taken great steps, but of course the next step we want to take is win a conference title, win a playoff game, get a home playoff game. So those are going to be our goals. Will we reach them this year? Nobody knows. That's why we play the games, and that's exciting. And, you know, we're just we're shooting for the stars and see what happens. But it's been a great 2 years, and we're looking forward to this year.
Anybody that follows the Hempfield Spartans football program knows about some of the guys you lost from graduation from last year. Joey DeFloria, who's now at Bucknell, also Ty George, who's at Seton Hill University, Max Adams, Joey Hoffner, among others. Talk about what those guys meant to the program.
Well, I mean, they were great players. They set the foundation for this program, and they did a great job for the 2 years. It's now time for the next guys to make names for themselves. I don't know if you can ever replace a Joey DeFlorio. I mean, he's a back that comes around once every 10, 15, 20 years. But we have very good backs in Lorenzo Barchetti, Donnie Washington, and we think Jordan Kempka, a young sophomore, can do a job too. And Ty George to replace him. He was our team leader for 2 years and did a great job for us. But we're very confident in Danny Walters, and we also like the backups in Clark Peterson and Justin Sawalski. So, you know, it's just time for the next guys to move in and make names for themselves.
That's what's so exciting about high school football, and we talked about it at our coaches show, that a lot of teams around Westmoreland County had senior-laden teams last year, and it's exciting to see about the new players stepping up.
Yeah, it is. Every year, that's what high school is exciting about. We don't get to go out and recruit kids and bring kids in and fit them into a system. We got to coach every year and develop those kids, so that's the exciting part of to see a sophomore or freshman develop into a great player.
I know you kind of mentioned some players that you're looking forward to stepping up and having big seasons this year, but I want to ask you about camp. A young team, I know one of the big things when you're talking about dealing with a young team is progress, making improvement. Did you see that from the beginning of the camp, training camp, to the end of the camp and the two scrimmages? Did you see a lot of progress from the guys?
Absolutely. We saw some sophomores really step up, and now they're able to contribute on the varsity level. And that's what we look for every year in camp, especially this year. Like I said, we're a young football team. Even though we got some great senior leadership, there's going to be a lot of sophomores and juniors playing this year.
Can you talk about any guys in particular that, I don't want to say are maybe a nice surprise, but any guys in particular that had really good camps that maybe came out of nowhere to do it?
Well, not out of nowhere. We expected some big things out of some guys. I think Danny Walters had a great camp. I thought Jay Flock had an excellent camp, and it's a shame that we've lost him. Tony Pilato had a great camp, continues to get better and better. Some young kids, Danny Arndt at tackle, Aaron Slavin at tackle, Bussy Ramelli, a sophomore at center. I mean, there's a lot of young kids that have really stepped it up.
You mentioned Dan Walters replacing Ty George at the quarterback position this year. We saw him at Greensburg-Salem his freshman year, played very well there, and then came to Hempfield and backed up Ty last year. Talk about what he brings to the table, Coach, and as you mentioned, pretty impressive camp for him.
Yeah, I mean, in the two scrimmages, he was 29 out of 38, which is excellent for high school football. He has great command of the offense. What I like about him is he's an intelligent player. He plays within the system. He gets rid of the ball quick. He can run the football, too. I think he showed that at Greensburg as a freshman, so I think he'll step right in and continue the tradition that Ty started, and he could be as good as anybody.
I know a lot of people will, at least for the first week, maybe compare him to Ty, but is there any similarities between the two, and what are the differences between him and Ty?
Similarities, I mean, Ty was 6'4", 210 pounds, was fast, could do a lot of nice things. Daniel's more of a thrower. Mm-hmm. Ty was more of an all-around athlete. I think Daniel's strengths are in his passing game knowledge and his quick release and knowing where to go with the football, and he just makes plays. And Ty was more of a runner who could throw, and Ty was a great leader. So I think there's a lot of similarities in their leadership, but I think a little bit different in quarterback, where Daniel's more of a thrower.
Sure. Let's talk about the topic that you don't want to talk about, the injuries. You mentioned Jay Flock, likely out for the season. I know Josh Kempka, too, a very big cog on your defense, tore his ACL a couple of months ago, and you're hoping to have him back. Can you talk about the situation right now and kind of what Jay did, and if you expect Josh to be back at some point here? Well,
with Jay, you're so disheartened for Jay. I mean, obviously it's a big blow to our football team because he put a lot of time and effort into this season, into his 3 years here, and the payoff was going to come this year for him. We expected great things from him. I think in his 2 scrimmages he had 9 catches. Wow. So, I mean, it's a big part of our offense. He was starting at linebacker for us, and, of course I'm brokenhearted for our team, but I'm more brokenhearted for the kid and his family because of, he's just a great person, a great kid, and his mom and dad are great people, and you just feel for them. So, but Jay will have a successful career. He's that kind of a kid. He'll bounce back, and he's had a great attitude since the injury. So, we're looking forward to working with Jay and getting him into college and have a great career there. With Josh Kempka, when Josh Kempka's healthy, there's no better linebacker. I think he's top-notch. I think he's as good as anybody in the state and in the Whitfield. So to get him back will be a bonus, and we're hoping he comes back sooner than later. But, Josh is the heart and soul of our defense. When he's out there, our defense is just a totally different defense. So, but we'll have to get by. Next man up, that's the way we look at it. Next guy goes in, does a great job for us, and we move on. But if we get Josh back, it will be a bonus for us.
Well, one of the bonuses that you have on your team that maybe some other high school coaches wish they had is John Doman. Great kicker, and I know that he's been visiting colleges and things like that. Talk about the secret weapon, maybe not a secret anymore, but the weapon you have with him when you get inside the 40 and 30-yard line.
Yeah, John had a great year last year. The only thing that John lacked last year was a little bit of inconsistency at times, but he has a strong leg. His kickoffs are way better this year. He's putting them in the end zone. And I feel very comfortable. Once we get inside the 35-yard line, we can go for a field goal. His range is probably upwards of 55, 56, but I'll try him over 50 whenever I can. And John's just a great kid, too. He works hard at it. And, I appreciate all of his efforts. I think in 2 years he's 15 out of 24, which that's highly unusual for a high school kicker.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned, too, at the coaches show that we had that you were happy about your receiving core where it is right now. Can you talk about – I know it took a little bit of a blow with Flock now. You used him, obviously. But, after him, can you talk about that coming back?
Sure. We think we have a really good Z receiver. We call it a Z receiver, wide receiver, and Dante Luther. He might not have the size and the flat-out speed, but he runs great routes, great hands, smart on the field, knows where to sit in the zones. We expect big things from Dante. At the X receiver, we have Dylan Sikora, a junior now. He started for me as a sophomore, but athletic, can catch the ball at our X receiver. At the H receiver, we have Loudon Richardson, a converted quarterback to H, and he does a lot of stuff for us inside along with Ryan Sawalski. And our tight end is now, when we're in a spread set, it's going to be probably a fourth wide receiver and not Jay. That could be Clark Peterson, a quarterback, a sophomore quarterback who also plays some wide out. And then we go into some tight end sets. It will probably be Neil Graham and Chase Logan.
Well, Coach, let's talk about your opponent here, and I guess a new opponent for you, obviously, a new team into the conference in the Plum Mustangs, a team that had a lot of issues. It had a long losing streak, but they did snap that at the end of the year last year, and I know talking with you and hearing from some of the other coaches that they did return a good bit from last year, and I'm sure you're thinking it's going to be a tough opener.
Well, I tell you what, you watch film on Plum from last year. They struggled last year, but they were in a tough conference. They were a young team. This year in their 2 scrimmages against Shaler and Fox Chapel, what improvement. I give Coach Morgan a ton of credit because I think they're a program that's up and coming. I think they're excited about the move to our conference. They're going to have a lot to prove tonight. They're going to want to play hard and show that they belong in this conference. They can compete in this conference. I expect a tough football game. I think Plum is probably going to be the most improved team in Quad A. And I do have a lot of respect for their program because I know Matt does a great job. So by no means is this a Plum football team that you saw 2, 3, 4 years ago. I think this team is capable of doing a lot of good things this year. We just got to match it tonight. It's going to be a great test for us. It's a great opener. It's two teams that we're young and we have stuff that we want to prove. They're a new team in the conference. They're probably senior laden more than we are. So it's going to be a great contest.
So keys to be successful, not only tonight, but this season. I mean, what do you guys need to do? Besides stay healthy, obviously, which every team has to go through, but just to be successul from your standpoint.
Well, we got to improve each and every week. I mean, I'm looking at this season as, I don't want to say it's a rebuilding year because I don't believe in that. We're ready to go. We expect big things from this football team. We want to make the playoffs and do all those things we've done. This year, though, we're going to have to stay patient early because we are young. We know mistakes are going to be made. We can't panic. I think our offense needs to be efficient and move the football with Danny in charge, establish some sort of run game. I think that's going to be a key. And defensively, we just got to improve each and every week. And then when we get some players back, like a Josh Kempka, those young kids have playing time. We've got to gel around Josh. And I think if we do all those things, we can be successful. Believe me, I think we can be right there at the end of the season.
Well, Coach, certainly looking forward to the first game. Always a nice buzz around. You smell the popcorn, you hear the band and everything. We're always very excited to get started here in Westmoreland County, Western PA, Week 1. And I want to know how much Huddle is paying you, though. You're like Tiger Woods, except you're with Huddle and he's with Nike.
I know. I think you got a lot more money. I got a shirt. Isn't that something? I mean, coming right off the field, I had this on, so they got some free advertisement.
Yeah, exactly.
And say what I get for it.
Exactly. We'll send them an invoice for you. How's that sound?
I like that.
That is head coach Rich Bowen of the Hempfield Spartans. Coming up next, don't go away. You're going to hear an interview with Tony Pilato, recently committed to the University of Pittsburgh, offensive tackle for the Spartans. We continue live from the pregame show here from Spartan Stadium on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Our chat with Tony Pilato is coming up.